Hello everyone, Gilligan Kruger 0829 here with a quick update slash announcement slash opinion video. Obviously this is about, as the title suggests, the upcoming Star Wars film and the future of the franchise. As you all know, I'm a huge Wars nerd. You saw that video I made for Star Wars Day 2 years back. Someone actually asked me if I was embarrassed to put some of the stuff in. I'm even wearing my Stormtrooper shirt, but that's aside the point. What I'm here to talk about today is, in the past couple of weeks, there have been a lot of announcements about not only Star Wars 7, but the future of the franchise in general. So, I'm here to give my own personal opinion on everything that's been announced. The big things, anyway. If I missed something, feel free to comment in the section below, but here's what I have heard thus far. Okay, so let's start with the big one, that towards the end of January, Disney and Lucasfilms announced that they found a director for Star Wars 7, and that is Star Trek and Star Trek Into Darkness helmer J.J. Abrams. Now, obviously this has been the subject for a lot of debate. I mean, the whole director thing in general was a huge debate, and Abrams, he is a very huge Wars nerd. I'll probably restate that later, and even though I'm hearing a lot of people make jokes, some bad jokes, or people are saying like, oh, is Star Wars going to have too many lens flares? I'm like, okay guys, that whole lens flare thing, let me say, never really bothered me as much as it did with anyone else. And again, as I said, Abrams being a huge fan of Star Wars, in fact, he wanted to do Star Wars before he did the Star Trek movies, I think we're in good hands. Now, personally, my money, my hopes were on Brad Bird doing it, but he's doing that 1952 Tomorrowland movie, and maybe if Abrams doesn't stick on Bird, will take on 8 or 9. I don't know. But for the most part, for episode 7, I think we're in good hands with Abrams. Now, the problem here that a lot of people are saying is that Abrams hasn't actually dedicated himself to the May 2015 release date that Disney originally promised us when they bought Lucasfilm back in October. Now, this means we could possibly be waiting till late 2015 or maybe even early to mid-2016 to get Star Wars Episode 7. That being said, the way I think of it is, I've waited this long. If it means another year to get a film on par with New Hope or Empire Strikes Back, my two favorite movies of all time, by the way, then yeah, you know what? I think I'm okay with that. I would prefer quality over getting the film here faster. Whether or not it goes that way, I don't know, but that's not what I'm all that afraid of. I'll get onto that later on. Another big announcement was that Disney has canceled, or at least temporarily shelved, the 3D, having trouble saying that today, the 3D re-releases of Attack of the Clones and Revenge of the Sith. Now, they haven't really touched on whether they want to shelve the original movie conversions, but their theory behind this is they want to proceed and move the franchise forward and not have to worry about these previous films. And quite frankly, again, I think that's a smart idea, because Phantom Menace 3D, as far as I heard, didn't do as well at the box office as other 3D conversion films. I mean, it did well. I mean, Phantom Menace is now one of the only films to make over $1 billion at the box office, but compared to what they were hoping for, it underperformed. So that, and the idea that they just want to look ahead, is a good reasoning behind it. So yeah, I agree with that too. Here's the thing, though, that Disney announced that actually has been worrying me. Since they announced that after Michael Arndt, they got on to write Star Wars Episode 7, possibly 8 and 9, they also brought in Lawrence Kasdan and Simon Kinberg, look them up if you have the time, to write films. And there were talks about spin-off movies, like just around other characters in the Star Wars universe. And now CEO of Disney, Bob Iger, has come out and stated that there will be at least 2 spin-off films. And the big names for this are a spin-off film about Han Solo, probably between Revenge of the Sith and New Hope, and a spin-off film about Boba Fett, somewhere in that same general range. Now, while Kasdan and Kinberg are writing these, I'm a little bit nervous about these projects myself. I think this is a case where you can either make a really good spin-off movie and really dive into more of it, or it's going to be a case where they're milking the cash cow like crazy and it's going to show. And I'm really nervous that it's going to be the latter in this case. Which, again, it kind of confuses me because Disney says they want to move forward with Star Wars, yet they're making movies set in the same universe? I don't know. I'm going to be optimistic. I'm not assuming anything at this point other than what I just told you, but all I'm saying is, Disney, if you're watching this, I don't want another X-Men Origins Wolverine. You guys know my feelings of that. If not, just check out my review. And the final little bit of info I heard just on Friday, actually, maybe Thursday, but only just recently, very recently, is that Disney was eyeing John Noble, whom you might know as playing Denethor, the douchebag father of Boromir and Faramir, if you can't keep up with all the Lord of the Rings names. They're eyeing him to play the Sith Lord in the next Star Wars movie. And I think this is great casting, personally. I think he has the despicable tone to him. I think it's really going to work out well. My only worry with this casting is that, how do I put this lightly? I do see a lot of McDiarmid and Palpatine in this character, in this actor. I'm only basing that off of how I saw him in Return of the King and the extended edition of Two Towers. But I really have a worry that this character might be a little bit too much like Palpatine. Because, as we know, Palpatine was a great villain. In fact, you will meet people who absolutely loathe the prequels, will compare them to films like Battlefield Earth and Batman and Robin, but they will still say that McDiarmid was fantastic in the role. Some say he was Oscar-worthy, should have been nominated. So there is that possibility that they'll say, like, oh, well, this character was great, why don't we redo him? I'm hoping that with this character, if this is true, and if Noble actually does get cast as Darth, whoever it is, make up something like Darth Torvos. I always thought that was kind of cool. If they do this, then they make him sort of a new character. Maybe even go into the makeup and make him a sort of alien-ish creature, not completely human. I think would be great. I mean, you could make him a human, and that would still work out. I'm just hoping they don't redo Palpatine, or worse, that he's a clone of Palpatine, which was a storyline I've heard somewhere. I don't know. I don't want any clones, okay? I don't really like the concept of that. But other than that, though, I do think that would be good casting. I do really look forward to what they do with it. And yeah, so that's all the Star Wars news recently. I'm still fully on board with Abrams as the director. I think Wars nerds are in good hands with him. I'm completely understanding why they shelved the whole idea of re-releasing the prequels. I probably wouldn't have seen Attack of the Clones. Maybe would have seen Revenge of the Sith in 3D, but I do see the reasoning behind that. It doesn't really bother me. I'm got mixed feelings about the spin-off movies, but I'll be optimistic and look and give them a chance. And I am looking forward to seeing what they do with Jon Noble as a Sith Lord. So yeah, some really interesting facts on Star Wars. Tell me what you guys think of these updates, and until then, I'll catch you later. Peace!